Hey y'all, Josh McQueen here, Fish Ohio Outfitters, and it's April 20th. And a lot of times most years, there's still a decent amount of steelhead on these dates, and you could be catching some steelhead. And I'm not saying we won't today, but that's not what we're looking for. Usually on a mild winter year, and I predicted this a while back and it came true, usually steelhead come in earlier in the, January, February, we didn't have a lot of frozen water. And so whereby they're done earlier. And so there's a couple of fish around. We actually just saw a few a little bit ago, but there's not many. But you know what? It's spring and it's time to focus on smallmouth. So the same Lake Erie tributaries for us. This used to be more of a secret. It's a little more well-known now. Same ones that we steelhead fish in all year get huge Lake Erie bass. Like we're talking all the big 4 or 5 and a couple of 6-pounders that are in Lake Erie. They come up these rivers to spawn. Now, not all of them. There's some that stay and spawn in the harbors, but there's a lot of fish out of Lake Erie that'll run these rivers to spawn, and that's what we're chasing today. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see if we can't go get them. So guys, we walked down to one of our mid-sized tributaries that I wanted to start on. They did get a little bump of rain a few days ago. It's already back to basically nothing. Not sure how long we'll be here, but we're gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna work a couple of holes, see if we can't get one of these big smallies, but we may have to seek out a little bigger watershed with a little bit more watercolor in it. This is pretty much gin clear, but we'll see. Oh. He's like, nope. I pulled that jig right in front of that steelhead, and he's like, you ain't touching me with that shit. I've been through the gauntlet, buddy. He did not appreciate it. All right, now I'm working up a ledge line that's cutting into a hole. I think I see what looks like a smallmouth sitting on the ledge. If it is, he is not concerned with my jig. And I would say that's just the super clear water. So we're gonna work up towards a deeper hole here in a little bit and see what we get. If we don't, that's actually kind of a good sign, but I don't yet. They're usually right there or just on the other side. That's kind of a good sign, because if they're not on the beds, they're likely to be more active. Pre-spawn fish is all their age, and that's what we're looking for. And I don't see a single bed here, so that's a good sign despite the not so awesome conditions. Well, let's see if there's anybody out in this hole. So that's where they've been. They're up hanging out where I'd expect them to. It's deep and slow on that inside edge. And although spring was kind of like wildfire last week, that big blasting cold front we got really slowed this down. This water's just about 52 degrees, so. I'm flirting with GoPro depth. Oh, there's a giant tree up in there. $2-cent jig. It's probably more than 2 cents, but phones got super wet, but they're waterproof. That's the beauty of the modern phone, I guess. Everything else stayed dry. I got a dry microphone. That's what I heard. That's what makes you the happiest. Steelhead. Well, you know, season's supposed to be over. And this is not what we're looking for, but we'll take it. I missed a couple of bass, and then as soon as I set the hook on this guy, I knew that's what it was. There was no mistaking, I just hooked a steelhead, so. Gave me a nice parting gift there, splashed me in the side of the head. I don't think that's a smallmouth either. Oh Lord, I think that's a quillback, and that's why I keep getting bumped in this hole, is there's so many quillback in there that I'm thinking that they're bass, but they're not. These are still pretty cool fish, and a lot of these in the river in the spring, and unlike the other suckers, you can get them to take a small fly or small jig. Spring documentary.
Nice. What
all species are in the Lake Erie tributaries? Let's just go through that today, I guess. That's kind of the road we're heading down right now. So what's going on here? I just pulled a nicer fish, and then I just missed one. I don't think this is loaded, but I have a nice ledge, and it's just slow enough on the backside seam, which is kind of paralleling that shale ledge, that's where I think they're hanging out. So it's a pretty easy trick, and I've seen this pattern before on these fish after a front and the water's cooled down. Really, you just want to get up on that shale ledge and just pull that bait, whether it be a Ned rig or a tube, some kind of jig that you're using on conventional gear like I am today, or if I was fly fishing, I'd just be pulling a crayfish pattern right off of that ledge, and they're just kind of hunkered down right there on that ledge. So once I get over here into the current, I'm pretty much out of the game, and it's just time to go back to getting on that ledge. But that definitely seems to be, that's definitely where that first fish came from. It's kind of helpful. You can sort of establish a pattern there. You know, one thing that I think is also going to help as this goes on, it is really clouded up to the point of where, and I think that's going to be the rest of the day. The way the forecast was, I don't expect that we're going to get much more sunlight, and that's going to be helpful in this clear water. So when I first walked up, I was kind of thinking, well, we'll give it a shot on this river and maybe move on to some bigger water, find some dirtier water. Now I've pretty much found fish. This is only the third stop of the day, and I've found fish. I've lost 2 others, each in the other holes. So I've found fish where I'd expect them to be. And so I think I'm going to, albeit I don't think I'm going to get carried away and have a great numbers day, I think that I'm going to stay here for the duration of today's fishing trip and see if we can't muscle a few more out. I feel pretty good about it. Hopefully this guy stays hooked. This is a great fish, and it's been a bit of a struggle in this clear, chilly water. I think I've got a decent hook. This is a nice fish, man. Yeah, come on, baby. Oh, yeah. This is exactly I'm shaking so bad, I'm having a hard time grabbing this fish. This is a giant. Keep her down in the water here. There's a big pre-spawn female, it looks like. That's a gorgeous fish, man. Heck yeah. Hashtag Biggie Smalls. It's probably not even as long as they get up here. I mean, it's probably 19. If I were to guess, I'm not gonna tape it. But just fat, solid 5 to 5.5 pound fish. And that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. So 3 species, and the one we're targeting came third, but that's okay. We'll take that. On to the next one. Oh, well, that's so far been kind of the the call of the day. I just hooked another decent one and lost it. Gonna keep going, but that's just that's like the 3rd or 4th one. And we're just gonna keep moving. Another good one. Another good one there. That was just an incredibly light hit. I mean, I really thought maybe I might have a rock bass. As nice as the weather is today, some of these fish are still just really shocked from that cold front. And I just had to work, again, right out in front of me, there's a huge ledge drop. And that fish was just hanging right outside of that ledge drop. I hope we get to see her. I've had all the fun out of her I want, but I can tell you she is not hooked super well, and I'm not carrying a net, so I'm gonna do my best. I would love to get a look at this fish. Doing what I say you should never do and grab the line. Oh yeah. That's a dandy, man. And that's what we're hunting. You know, sometimes I get into numbers up here, but just to come up and catch, I mean, these are world-class Lake Erie smallmouth coming up the rivers. And just to come up here and get a couple of these is absolutely worth it. An awesome, awesome fish, man. We're gonna let her go. Probably a solid pushing 5-pounder, not quite as big as the first fish, but no slouch. Really quality smallmouth for sure. Fish on. I mean, what can you say? You know, this is one of the little guys here. It's probably a 17.5 inch or 17-inch fish that's still probably 3.5 pounds and just a gorgeous fish. That thing really hammered that bait. I mean, that's probably one of the more aggressive fish of the day. Water temps have come up a little bit this afternoon, and yeah, maybe it's just getting a little bit better. So we'll let her out of here. We're gonna keep going. This has been our most productive spot by far, and We'll see if we can't wrap up a few more of these before I inevitably have to get Big Al out of here and get him a sub sandwich. Hard as it hit, I mean, it may not have been a bass. That might have been another steelhead. But I don't know, the last fish prior to that really slammed that thing. So I think the water's come up and we're just seeing a little better fishing now because of it. The water temperature, I should say, not the water has come up, but. Okay. Oh. Here we go. Now what on earth is this? It is a red horse. That's not what I expected. That's the fourth species of the day. And that's exactly what you can expect on a Lake Erie tributary in the spring when it warms up. I mean, my target is smallmouth, but here comes a silver red horse. And that's the fourth species. Oh, sucker rodeo. We can save that for Fish Flop Friday. Yeah. There you go. That's our fourth species. We've had a quillback, red horse, a smallmouth, and a steelhead. All the usual suspects. The only thing left would be common carp. Well, there'd be rock bass, a number of things, but that is a great example. Today has been a great example of just Lake Erie tributary in the spring, just multiple species. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy how you can there's a lot of days you can do that. My steelhead season really officially ended, what is today, Big Al?
It's Thursday.
Thursday. So it really ended a week ago, Monday, so a week and a half ago. I'm not focused on them at all, but there's a few around. And the water temperature's not bad. It's 54 degrees, so that's not gonna hurt them. Not like last week's water temps when it got super, super warm and you really shouldn't, there was plenty of people fishing for them. They probably shouldn't have been, but they were. Especially the western rivers in the state, they are just up in the 70-degree range. But it's not gonna hurt them at these temps. So, little snag there, and we're gonna go ahead and move on down. There's an awesome hole there, and then there's ledge this way, and rocks. I got rocked out here in this big hole. There he is. He's still trying to, that's a good one. That's better than the last one. Nice long one. Awesome. That's kind of gone from, I mean, this is an awesome hole we're on, so I'm not going to downplay that, but a couple of those other holes I started on have certainly been great to me. It's kind of gone, and this is typical in this situation, it's just gone from kind of a, is this going to be a good day, to the last hour has been an excellent day. And you can just chalk that up to increasing water temperatures. I do think it's funny in the spring, and especially, and I get it on the weekends, especially in steelhead season, it's very busy. Bass isn't nearly as bad, but I always find it interesting when, you know, post-frontal, first couple of days we start to warm up again, And you'll get a lot of folks that, you know, oh, I got to be out there at the crack of dawn. And if that's the time that you have and you got something later in the day, I understand it. It's not that late now. It's right around 2:30 or 2 o'clock, something like that. And I think we started about 10. So we haven't been out that long ourselves. But it's just, there's no need on a day when you know the water temperature is going to increase and you're coming off of some cold weather. There's just no need to be out at the crack of dawn. This fishing just gets better in these rivers. A little different in a lake because your temperature is not going to change that much, especially Lake Erie. I mean, you're lucky to see a degree over a course of a day or two, especially deep water. Maybe in the shallows and in the bays, you'll see a couple of degrees. But in the river, you can easily see 6, 8, 10 degrees this time of year. And that's a big, big deal in their world. Well, guys, appreciate you tuning in today. It was a good day out. Four species total. Great example again. I said this earlier in the video of just what a Lake Erie tributary can do for you in the spring. My primary target was big smallies. Certainly accomplished that goal today. But you know, just getting a few of those other fish, reeling in what will most likely, I can't imagine, be my last river steelhead of the season. Because moving forward, I'm just primarily on the boat out on the lake and some inland smallmouth, but so I won't be back up here, I think, unfortunately, to enjoy this, at least not when there's any steelhead around. But yeah, it was a great day. We're moving along pretty good here in April. It's been kind of, last week was wildfire, just absolutely hot, and it really amped things up. It's kind of good we had the brakes put on us and had this cold front. It sort of made the fishing in the middle of this week a little tougher, but by the end of this day, that certainly wasn't the case. That's it. You know, it was a good day overall. Very happy with the results. Fish were exactly where I expected them to be, just hanging out off of deep drop-offs and ledges. Pre-spawn, we only saw one fish that was working a bed, so I think it'll have to warm back up a little bit. And looking forward, looks like there might be another cold front this weekend with some rain, so I don't think that they're going to be in a big hurry. So there's some time to get up here and do this. And if you see this video soon enough, I would still have maybe a handful of dates to be able to do that. Might be able to slip you in there. So appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to click and subscribe to our channel, that's great. Helps us out a bunch. Or follow us here on TikTok. And we'll see you next time, guys.